There is love that is born of chance. There is love that grows from togetherness. And there is also love that arises from something far more complicated, more silent, more painful. Love that was never asked for, but came because it had to be felt. That is where this story begins. In the thin space between acting and reality, between role and soul, between script and the heart of a woman named Esther Yu. Many people see Esther as a light-hearted, cheerful, and colorful person. Her laughter sounds like it has never known pain. Her expressions always seem to carry warmth. But the camera is a cruel yet honest witness. The camera records not only movement, but also vibrations. And that is where the audience begins to realize that something is unusual. There are emotions that are too deep. There are feelings that are too real. There is a love that feels too alive to be called just a role. The name slowly but surely appears, haunting every scene and every second of silence. Yu. At first, everything seems simple. An actress does her job. A male character appears as part of the story. Dialogue is read. Scenes are repeated. Emotions are built. But nothing is ever truly simple when human emotions are involved. Every day, Esther had to stand at the same spot, look at the same face, feel the same conflict, love and be hurt by the same person again and again. Her feelings were given no chance to rest. Her wounds were given no time to heal. That was when the boundaries began to crumble. Not because of intention, not because of desire, but because of sincerity. Esther Yu is known as an actress who doesn't play on the surface. She doesn't pretend to be sad. She dives into that sadness. She doesn't imitate love. She allows herself to feel it. Every scene becomes a space for confession. Every line of dialogue sounds like a whisper from the heart. And slowly, without realizing it, those feelings cease to belong solely to the character. Esther's gaze at Yu no longer feels like she is reciting lines from a script. There is hesitation. There is hope that is almost lost. There is fear hidden behind a thin smile. The audience can feel it, even when no words are spoken. The silence between them speaks the loudest. A silence that is heavy with meaning. A silence that is full of emotion. Then the inevitable question arises. Who forced Esther Yu to feel that love? The answer is never simple. There is no single figure to point to. There is no audible command. What forces it is circumstance. What forces it is the demands of art. What forces it is the courage of an actress to be completely honest with the emotions she brings to life. When a director demands emotional honesty, when a story demands genuine tears, when a fictional relationship is built with such intense realism, then feelings become trapped within it. Love grows not because it is planned, but because it is never rejected. The days of filming became a space where Esther not only acted, but lived as someone who loved and was hurt by Yu. Every argument drained her emotions. Every separation left a mark. Every happy moment felt like something that had to be defended with all her might. And when the scene was over, those feelings did not immediately disappear. The camera may have stopped recording, but the heart knows no cut button. There were quiet nights after filming ended, when emotions still lingered in her chest. There was a fatigue that her body couldn't explain, because it was her feelings that were tired. How could she let go of a love she had felt so deeply, even though she knew that love was never meant to last in the real world? How could she go back to being herself when part of her soul was still left behind in the character? This is the part that the public rarely sees. This is the price of honest acting. Esther Yu is not driven by gossip, ambition, or sensationalism. She is driven by her own courage not to lie about her emotions. And in the world of acting, honesty is a double-edged sword. It creates beauty that captivates the audience, while leaving wounds that must be healed alone. No wonder fans feel something different. They don't just watch, they get immersed. They don't just see a love story, they feel its pulse. Because what they witness is not just a series of romantic scenes, but emotions born from a very human place. From the fear of loss, from the hope of being loved, from the desire to be understood. And when Esther Yu cries on screen, those tears feel too heavy to be called fake. There is a sadness that seems to come from the deepest layers of the heart. There is pain that is unadorned. There is honesty that makes the audience fall silent. At those moments, many people stop asking whether love is real, because their bodies have already answered with their feelings. Is love real? Yes, it is real when it is felt. Real in the moment when the emotion is alive and pulsing. Real in the moment when Esther Yu allows herself to love without protection, even though she knows that love will not be hers forever. But perhaps love was never meant to be possessed. Perhaps it was only meant to be felt, so that a story could live, so that a character could breathe, so that the audience could believe. Love does not stay, but its traces remain. And perhaps that is where its beauty lies. That there are feelings that are born, ignite, then fade, leaving marks that never completely disappear. Esther Yu did not lose herself because of that love. On the contrary, she showed how deeply she dared to dive into human emotions. She proved that art can be so close to reality that the two are almost inseparable. If today many people still talk about the relationship between Esther Yu and Yu, it is not because of cheap sensationalism. It is because there is something that feels honest, raw, and human. Something that cannot be completely fabricated. Something that can only be born when someone is truly brave enough to feel. And if you ask again, who forced Esther Yu to feel that love, the answer might be life itself. Life that demands courage. Art that demands honesty. And a heart that, once opened, can never be fully closed again. It's real. And it may always feel real, as long as there are hearts watching it and trembling along with it.